What is going on, everybody? Ooh, we got a good one today. We got the Last of Us breakdown. Ah, the show that just, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I'm going to save it here because I'm just in shock and awe. And I got to bring in Justin Takumi down here. Oh, well, he's cooling himself down with a nice beverage.
What the hell is my hair doing? Put on headphones and then it just explodes.
Woo, another banger of an episode, right?
Oh, so good.
Oh, we're talking about Willow, folks. No, just kidding.
Talking about Willow.
Oh man, I think the entire show Willow wasn't even 5 minutes at the level of what Last of Us was.
The only feeling that Willow made me have was regret.
Not separation anxiety.
I mean, from staring at a wall.
Oh man, episode 2 just dropped, The Last of Us, and yeah, we don't have our buddy Nathan here because he got bit by the clicker, so he's done. He's Dunsky. He's over. No, actually, Nathan couldn't make it. He messaged me earlier. He is out with a friend who is heading out to another country for a while. So wants to kind of have dinner with them and hang out with his friend. So I'm like, okay, cool. Hey, you know, friends are important. You know, eventually they're gonna get bit by the clickers, and you're not gonna have friends. But you know, enjoy them while you can.
Yep.
So
what part of the game are you at right now?
So unfortunately, I didn't get to play much this week because I was so busy cleaning up and doing things at the office. I did play only up to the part where he just meets Ellie.
Okay.
So I'm at that part. I'm just about to traverse, right?
Gotcha.
So I'm at that. I'm hoping that maybe tomorrow I'll play about 2-3 hours of it.
Yeah.
And catch up to the episode 2.
Well, and you're not a fan of horror games.
I'm not.
Okay.
And I know what I'm gonna get. I know what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah.
And the last time I did this was with Uncharted, when they said it was an adventure game.
It is.
But at the very end, it's not an adventure game at the end. Especially Uncharted 1 and 2.
Uncharted is Barney the Purple Dinosaur compared to The Last of Us.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, that's what somebody said to me. He was like, he tapped me on the shoulder.
Have you killed a man yet?
What's that?
Have you killed a man yet in the game?
No, I have. I've stuck up from behind and strangled a whole bunch of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I had to go get the battery. Remember? I had to chase the guy for the battery.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing that stealth stuff, but I don't want to do it all the time. But this game is filled with that, from what I hear.
Oh yeah, that's how you play it. Is you sneak and then something notices you and you panic and shit your pants and then you try and throw a brick.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of that.
Before we begin, I do want to show some cool stuff that we just got in the mail. I forgot to put my shirt on, so there you go. We got the popcorn chicken shirts. Yay, we got them. I had one too, but I was running a little bit late, couldn't get it. But we also got coasters for your beverages, which we're going to give away to people.
And we got stickers. I got
one cool of them stickers right here.
Back of my car now.
We got cool stickers. And for the Saturday morning peeps that come out, the Mighty Beaver has his own sticker.
Ooh.
The Mighty Beaver. Let me show it closer. Like this. The Mighty Beaver. So yeah, can't wait to give us this. So the first people that are going to get it are the winners from our 100th episode. We're going to put them in. That's what I was waiting for, to get these, and so we could package them with the winning prizes and send that out to them. So we're going to start shipping it out this week. So slowly everyone's going to start getting their tracking numbers, and hopefully everyone gets it by next week or the week after and enjoys those cool prizes that we made for them. All right, man, let's get into this thing. Let's talk about it.
Whoa.
So last week you weren't here.
No.
Right? So did you want to give the score? Or did you give the score on the other Wednesday, right?
I did, yeah.
But do you want to repeat it for anybody that hasn't seen last week's episode?
Sure. I think I gave it a 9.
I think you gave it higher than that, did you?
Or 9.5. It was either a 9.5 or a 10.
I think you give it a 10.
I think it might have been a 10.
Yeah, me and Nathan give it 9.5.
Or no, it was 9.5 because I
Oh, you took it back down to 9.5?
yeah, I think I gave it a 9.5 because I was like I don't remember. I think it was either a 9.5 or a 10. But like borderline perfect score.
Yeah. Honestly, like
And it was 9.5 because I was like, I like how they are staying so close to the source material, but I don't want this to just be
a carbon
shot
copy
for shot
Yeah.
remake. If they do that, that's playing it safe, and I'm fine with that. And so far, they're doing a phenomenal job. So if the entire show is just them doing like a shot for shot remake, I'm fine with that. But it's not gonna like be like, oh, it's so good. It's just like I've experienced this story, and they just did a very good. Like it's like a cover band. If you
Yeah.
go and like you hear Zeppelin and you're like, oh fuck, this is amazing. And if you go see a really, really good Zeppelin cover band, you're like, those guys are awesome musicians and they nailed Zeppelin. But they're not gonna like make me cry because of the art that they create. It's just gonna be like, that is a perfect representation of a thing that I fucking love.
Yeah.
And that so far is, or rather in the first episodes, was what this is. The best cover band you've ever seen. And this episode slightly changed that for me.
Okay. I'm interested. Like I said, I haven't played the game at this point for episode 2, so I don't know what the comparisons are. I will know tomorrow and the day after.
Yeah.
But one of the things I mentioned last week about the show was I did play episode 1 of the show. I did play most of it through the game, and I liked the changes they made.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't so far out and changed the whole structure of the game. It kept it within the contents, but it's also like expanded a little bit more on some of the characters that needed that expansion, right? And to give it more life, to give it more like meaningful background for Joel. And I think they did a good job because when he gets the flashbacks at the end of episode 1 about his daughter and Ellie, because they gave a little bit of backstory on Ellie, it felt more meaningful.
Yeah.
Right. So when they make changes like that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I was surprised how much more in depth they are going with character development, because that's usually something that plagues video game adaptation, or rather movie adaptations of video games, is because in a video game you get 10, 12, whatever, up to an unlimited amount of hours for that character development, or you are controlling them, so you are immediately a lot more immersed and more connected with the character because you're moving him, you're making them do these choices. And then in a movie they're like, all right, fuck, we got 20 minutes to tell you all the shit that you gotta know about this guy. And then you're just like, well, obviously you're gonna miss 10 hours of shit, and those are all the best parts. So like it's an impossible task. But what they're doing with this is adjusting and changing things in the story so that they can not necessarily cram it. And again, it's better that they're doing a TV show, because this as a movie would not work. But they are focusing on specific parts. And also, too, they're cutting out a lot of the fluff, and I'm assuming further down the line, because in a video game, obviously, you've got side stories, and you've got, oh, they go to this barn, there's a crazy guy, and there's 3 hours of trying to get into this barn, and then you kill the guy, and you learn about him or whatever. But for a TV show, that doesn't matter. Like a little side mission where you get your shotgun upgraded doesn't fucking matter. So I think they're probably going to do away with a bit of that. They mentioned Bill and Frank, so we're going to run into them, which is cool because they were a big part in the game. But
I mean, they could, like, I don't know, like I haven't played the game, you have, but they could add some side missions in the game organically, and make it part of it. So fans fans who played the game can go, oh, I remember that character. That character was in one of the side missions, but in here, that character is playing a role to continue the story,
but
and make it more in depth, right?
yeah. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, they'll probably add like supplementary things and references here and there, but like, you're not obviously in a TV show, you're not having to adhere to the gameplay to make it fun. You're only here for the story, and so far they've been doing that wonderfully. And just the parts that are important are still as important and as impactful in the show. Like when, or even more so too, because they, you know, didn't spend a lot of time, you know, with the daughter, just walking around the house. Like, they're able to kind of show shock and awe things a lot more efficiently because they're not relying on the person who's playing the game to walk in the right direction to see the things. Right? They have control of the camera, and that was the thing with The Last of Us in the game, is you're walking through a lot of it, and there's a good amount of cut scenes, but there's a lot of narrative storytelling while you're walking around and playing the game.
Yeah. All right, so episode 1, we start off basically the last episode they got through the fence and they're going into the hazard zone of Boston. Is it Boston that we're at? Because I did see it. Okay,
Boston,
and so we begin episode 2 with them waking up in, I'm assuming, a hotel or some abandoned apartment, whatever it is. They barricaded themselves in there, which as they should, which is smart. I like that.
So the barricade thing, when they're like, oh, how do they not get in here? And he's like, oh, trust me, it's fine or whatever. And then they go to leave and he just moves a bookcase or whatever. But like, that's 100% like a QuickTime event. Just like mash X to move the big heavy thing out of the fucking way. Like, the way that they kind of focused in on the camera on that, I was like, that's a QuickTime event. You're going to have a press X, press triangle, press square. And again, there was a bunch of times through the episode too where they would like, and other TV shows don't do this. And so it was like they made this choice where anytime they went to go do something, somebody would get on one knee and take their backpack off and then loot through it. And it's just like, you do that so many fucking times in the game. And I'm happy to still see that, because it's just like, oh, hey, he's going through his backpack. He's going through his inventory.
See, those kind of little subtle changes like that, or borrowing from the game, is so cool for the people who played the game, and they appreciate that. So I like the fact that they attention to detail and said, okay, let's do a full fan service for these people who play the game, because if there wasn't for those people playing the game and making it popular, we won't have a TV show, right? So, and that's why I don't understand with other IPs where they don't go and appease the fans first. They're the ones who are making it possible for you to make a TV show or a movie out of it, right? Why would you want to appease non-fans rather than the fans? That doesn't make any sense to me as a business. I would go to the core fans.
But also too, for the people who haven't played the game, like him moving that chest out of the way, and also them going into their backpack all the time, like, it doesn't seem out of place. And it's
not awkward. It's not awkward.
It's not a zoom in camera thing. Like, hey, do you get it?
Triangle on the screen.
And then people are like, I don't get it. And they're like, oh, I guess you should play the game. It's just like little sprinklings of like, hey, this is a thing that we know is from the game. And then you're like, cool. And then you move on. And it's just little things that are showing respect to the source material.
One of the things I quickly liked is Ellie and Joel's banter back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Joel. Their banter back and forth. I just love her. Like, she's just a quick, right in your face, like, I went to school, idiot. Of course I know where it is. That was so funny. Like, I had a good chuckle.
And then immediately he claps back when he he's like, how long did they last? I thought you went to school. Well, it's a shitty school.
It's so good. The back and forth between the two.
The dialogue is really, really good.
Yeah. And both actors, Bella and Pedro, have done
Oh,
so far have done an admirable job, I think, of
phenomenal.
representing those characters from the game.
Yep.
So yeah, so they get out of the place they were staying, and Tessa's with them. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
they get out, and Tessa. So Tessa is she has been one of those positive reinforcement type of characters, right? Bitter old Pedro or Joel, and then you have you know smart ass Ellie. She's
Yeah.
sort of like in the middle, like the mother of the two kind of thing. Like, hey,
Kind of, yeah. She's the mediator.
yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
hey, would you shut up? And would you shut up? We have this is such an important mission. How do you two not understand that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Pedro's character Joel, he's such a negative because of what he's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't believe any of this. Like, they've obviously talk about her bite mark healing
Mm-hmm.
and how she could be the solution, whatever makeup chemistry she has in her body, she could be a solution to mankind, and how important she is. And he's just not buying it. He's like, man, I've heard these stories before.
Well, she starts talking and saying like the spiel of like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm the last, and he immediately just starts finishing her sentence, and he's just like, I've fucking heard this shit before. Like, he's such a skeptic, and like rightfully so. This has been what 25 years.
I'm sure he's heard us share stories.
Yeah, and so he's just like, this doesn't work. I'm not risking my life for this. I'm
Yep.
just looking out for not just him, but he's just like, we just need to survive, and fantasies and hopes and dreams get you fucking killed. So we're not doing that. And he's just like, we'll get a battery another way. And it's
Mhm.
fine. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And it's not an argument. It's not a discussion. It's just like, no, this is what we do to survive. Okay, we're moving on. Let's go. And he's not an asshole about it. He's just like, I'm alive, so I'm right.
Yeah. And you can't complain. You can't argue.
You can't argue with that. You're like,
Yeah.
well, okay, I guess you are alive still. So
You make a good point.
yeah.
So they traverse. So what is their goal to get to these Firefly guy? They have a home base or something in there. In the
well, yeah, they've
zone?
got in the hazard zone. They have, I guess a meetup points that they were told to go to. They're like, you got to go outside to the hotel or whatever the fuck, or this specific hotel in Boston. And
Boston, yeah.
Speaking of Boston, I hope Bill Burr shows up in this too. Just as a clicker, and he like just vomits on somebody or headbutts somebody or something. That'd be pretty sick.
Or
But,
he's just biting on somebody. He just turns and looks at the camera, right?
just yells, "Fuck!
I got bit."
No! Yeah. But
So they got
they're
the
supposed to go there.
Yeah, they got a long way to go, a long route or a short route, right?
Yeah.
And Ellie's like, well, the short route, obviously, duh.
Well, no, they were like, no, they were like, we can go to the long route or the short route. Is the short route covered in thousands of them? Yeah. Okay. Well, that one's definitely gonna instant death. And then Ellie's like, all right, well, we should probably go the long route there with that limited amount of information.
And so I guess they try to go through, what is it? Another abandoned apartment.
They go through a hotel, which when they
Okay.
get in there, there's a couple references to the game in this. So they get into the hotel, and Ellie's just like, "Oh, cool!" And then Joel's like, "How the fuck do you know what this is?" Because, like, again, she was born in this infestation, so she didn't know what the fuck a hotel is. And then she was just like, books, bitch." And he's like, "Okay." And then he like, as she's like, "Oh, I know things," he starts wading through the water, and then she's like, "Oh, I can't swim," which is a reference because, and you're gonna hate this, but it's kind of endearing, but it's annoying in the game. A good chunk of the game is you like going into the water and moving rafts and moving things so that Ellie can jump on them because she can't swim.
Oh,
It's not like Resident Evil, like escorting the president's daughter annoying. It's just like there's a and it's not like super tedious and whatever. It's not annoying, but it's absolutely a thing in the game. And she's like, "I can't swim," and she's like, "Yeah, you damn right you can't, fucking can't." If he floats
Did
a
it,
pallet,
did it bring a smile to your face when she said
oh,
that?
it did. Yeah. She's like, I can't swim, and then he's like, all right, smart ass, and then just like hops down, and it's like barely up to his knees. But
So do you
yeah,
think they'll play off that in a later episode?
I think they have to. They have to have him pushing a pallet in like chest high water or swimming with a pallet so that she can float on it. They have to do that.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. I can't wait for
Yeah.
that. That'd be awesome. Yeah, so they get to the when they got to the water, I'm like, oh man, there's gonna be somebody coming out of the water at the clicker. Somebody's gonna be doing this, but it didn't happen. I was kind of disappointed. It didn't happen.
Yeah, there wasn't really any water stuff in the game, because they can't really swim. They can't see, so they'll just drown. And
maybe they'll choke each other in the underwater.
We didn't talk about the beginning, the opening scene in Jakarta.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So this is something that this show is doing too, is giving us more backstory on how everything.
So I was going to ask you, was that part in the game at all?
Mm-mm.
So Jakarta and all that scene was not part of the game at all.
No, you hear bits and pieces because there's a lot of lore in the game. Like there's notes and newspaper clippings and whatever that you find throughout the game. So you can kind of build yourself.
Okay.
A lot of the backstory, but it never is really stated because none of the characters give a shit what happened 25 years ago or how any of this started. Again, the whole game is just like survive, live, survive. But they slightly changed that. It was vague in the game, and it was just like it started in similarly themed, but I think it was like it started in the Middle East, and it started in a factory or something like that, and that was pretty much about the amount of information you get throughout the game. But in this, it's cool because they're kind of legitimizing it a lot, where they have like a mycologist who's like a person who's an expert on mycelium and spores and whatnot, and they spend very little time. Again, the writing in this has been ridiculously efficient, because instead of spending 5 minutes going like, this lady, she's an expert on this, she just walks up to a microscope and goes, you didn't prepare this correctly. And so immediately the audience is like, this bitch knows what she's talking about. Yeah. And then they just move on. They're like, we don't have to explain it. She's the expert. Now you know. And it's like, shit, that's clever writing. And it's cool that they're now like in the first episode when they had the ABC interview thing. And
I wonder if they're gonna do that for every episode.
I think so, because they've been hinting at a lot of things, and also in the tweets from the directors, they've been like hinting at things as well, giving clues, because, and now in retrospect, like watching the first episodes, there's a ton of little hints here and there, but they're saying that it started in a bread factory in Indonesia. They said that the mycologist said, oh, that's a perfect environment for this mycelium to grow in yeast and bread and all that. And then the old lady that we see, who's the first infected person we see, she's eating biscuits, so bread. Joel says, oh, I'm on the Atkins diet, which means he's staying away from bread and carbs. So that's probably how he didn't get infected, because he isn't eating bread. So the infection probably started in this bread factory, or in this like wheat factory or some shit, or flour factory. That's what it was. And then his daughter is baking cookies with the old lady. She doesn't eat any of them. And they keep like showing these little subtle things, and it's just like they narrowly dodge death. Oh, and then he doesn't get the cake because he's a shitty dad and just forgot. Well, not shitty dad. He's just a busy guy and can't organize anything. So he doesn't get a cake. So he doesn't eat any bread then. And there's just like these tiny little hints here, or not even hints, just like in retrospect, when you're like, this shit started with bread, and you see like all these times where they narrowly dodge death.
Yeah, that's
And
dope.
also, when they were talking about this show beforehand, the director was tweeted out, he was like, yeah, there'll be some breadcrumbs throughout the show of how this infection started. And it's like, breadcrumbs, that's another reference. So
That's crazy.
yeah, the
Yeah,
writing and planning so far has been phenomenal.
I think this is a pattern. I think every episode we're gonna get like a flashback or something, and that's
I'm fine
cool.
with that.
Cool. Expand the world of my understanding of this.
Mm-hmm.
And also for the people who play the game, just continue expanding it for us.
Yeah.
Right. So that's cool. I like that. So back to where they're traveling, they're traversing. They go through the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and they find out there's a dead end. They need to go another way.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Tess mentioned, is it Tess that mentions the museum?
Yeah.
Or was it Joel?
Yeah, one of them.
One of them mentions like, let's go to the museum. And as immediately he said that, I'm like, oh, museum, okay, cool. They're gonna find some bad guys up in there
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like the perfect place. Glass shells and display stuff. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
And so cool story. I'm the one that told the family to watch it. Family's
Mhm.
like, whatever. My wife's like, sure, I guess I'll watch it. Now she's anticipating it more than me every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then my little one just comes by. Well, when I say little, he's 13 almost.
Mhm.
He comes and sits there.
So he's Ellie's age.
Yeah, he slides in there. Sees Ellie
Yeah.
there. He slides in there. I'm like, okay, cool. My oldest one, who's walking going upstairs, he happens to glance over and sees at the time the clicker showing up,
Yeah.
and this dude likes the horror stuff. He loves it. He's
Yeah.
the complete opposite of me in terms of what I like. And he's like, "Oh," and
This
I'm
is
like,
sick.
"Yeah." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm coming down." And he sits, flops right behind me, wants to watch it, and he's like, "This is pretty cool." So now
Mhm.
it's become a family thing every Sunday, I
Hell
guess.
yeah.
So I'm like, "All right, cool, all right." But yeah, let's talk about that museum.
Yeah. So this is the first time we see the clickers. We've seen a
Why are they
couple
called clickers? Just because they make that clicking noise? Is
because
that
it's
Okay.
a form of like kind of echolocation
That's what I
communication
thought.
sort of between the two of them,
Okay.
or not two of them, but between them. So in the game, and we talked about this before, but it was spores, and that's
Yeah.
how it spread. They did away with that in this show, which I am fine with, because obviously they don't want all of their characters in masks the whole time, and also it's kind of like, oh no, my mask broke. Like it's just an easy out for writing where it's just
Mhm.
like, how do we kill off this person? Their mask slips off or something, or it's an old mask or whatever. So they do away with that, which is fine. And they introduce a new thing which is not in the game, and is again kind of bringing it into reality, because there are networks of mycelium and fungus underground that they are discovering that communicate and have languages.
I thought that was really cool.
That's not in the game. That's something
So,
unique to this show. Yeah,
So that's pretty cool though. It's like almost like Avatar,
kind of.
right?
Yeah.
Where the
Well,
whole
and there's a research team who built a mock-up of Japan, and they let these mycelium grow, and they put these like food or like nutrients or whatever at the points where the cities are in Japan, and the mycelium built a more efficient pathway to those cities than their rail system and their trains and their roads and everything.
wow.
And so they built more efficient paths than humans did to get to all of those different points. And it was just like, that, okay, yeah, we're all gonna die, and mushrooms are gonna kill us.
I love me some mushrooms. I had them over the weekend. Fantastic. I'm still here.
Cool. Yeah.
Are you a mushroom guy?
What type of mushrooms are we talking about?
As soon as I said it, I'm like,
Because I got some
Yep.
chocolates in my fridge right now that
I'm talking about the ones that you get at Wendy's on a burger.
Oh no, I don't like them.
Okay, cool.
It's a texture thing for me. The taste, yes,
Really?
I'll chop them up really finely.
Put soup
And
or something.
soup is
soup?
fine. Oh yeah, I love mushroom soup.
Okay.
I love me a good what's the beef tenderloin, whatever, where you wrap it in the mushroom saute and
Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking
beef Wellington. Love me a
Yeah.
beef Wellington. I love mushroom risotto. But
But you can still taste the texture or feel the
No-
texture.
not if you in risotto it's fine. In like I don't care enough to not eat them or cook with them. Like I still do it, but it's just like I'll use less or I'll chop them up more finely if it's not anyway. I just
Yeah.
the texture when
Next
you're
week we'll do the
cooking with
cooking
them.
show.
I'll do a fucking cooking show. The texture with them I find always takes away from something else or it doesn't mesh well with something else. But
Okay.
you got to
cool.
cook them right.
Fair enough. So yeah, they get in the museum and they're trying to find their way, and
Mhm.
sure enough, we
Shit
see
goes awry.
we hear clicking, and it's so eerie. It's crazy. It's
It's
insane.
perfect.
Yeah, and so this is the first time he goes to her. He basically signs it to her because they're right behind the wall where
Mhm.
the stand where the other side is the clicker, and he goes,
Yeah.
they can hear, but they can't see,
Mhm.
right? And this is the first time I guess the audience, who's not obviously a gamer, comes to know about this as well.
Mhm.
And I
'Cause,
love
yeah,
the way,
as far as we like the audience knows, this is just another zombie show.
of course, right? And so me and my wife, we watched The Walking Dead for years,
Mhm.
and our
Same.
brains are so tuned into that,
Yeah.
right? Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention one other thing. So I love the CGI of the city.
Mhm.
It's so good.
I was looking at it with a fine-tooth comb because everything's green screens. Like
Yeah,
they're on
yeah.
an entire green screen stage.
The only
This
thing
is
in
like
front of them is probably two rocks.
two rocks, some mossy rocks. Everything
Yeah,
else
that's
is green screen.
Yeah.
I was looking through that with a fucking magnifying glass, and I could not see one bit. They lit that perfectly. They did a phenomenal job.
You know what it reminded me of a movie, I Am Legend?
Yeah.
Reminded me of that with the green, the moss, and everything.
Yep.
What if the two universes?
I can
were the
fix
same?
this. I can fix this. This is my site. Honestly, when that movie came out, I wanted them to do and they still nobody's really done it to my knowledge. A zombie game like that. Where it's a huge risk reward thing. Like you got to go out and loot.
Mm-hmm.
You could go into here. There's going to be some really good loot in there, but there's a shitload of zombie guys or whatever, and you will almost definitely die. And then it just wipes your save. If you die, that's it. You got to start from, and so you got to go out.
No, that'd be such a piss off for a lot of people.
but that's kind of what like Tarkov is doing, and DMZ. They're doing that risk reward looter shooter extract kind of thing. But I think a single player thing like that would be pretty cool.
See, I'd be down for multiplayer because I need a backup. I need a team.
Sure.
Like even triple, right? Triple,
You gotta get DMZ. You gotta play some DMZ with me.
DMZ.
Michael's in on it. That's the Call of Duty mode that I'm obsessed with now.
Okay, I'm down.
I like Warzone.
How's
I have
Michael
not
in on it?
touched.
Michael's got it too.
Michael, yeah, it's free.
Oh yeah. Oh, what's he playing on the computer?
Yeah.
Okay, I might be.
You
down.
can play on anything. It's cross-platform.
Okay, we'll set up a time. We'll play. We'll put it up on our channel here.
Put it up on AGR.
Yeah, HGR Gaming Channel.
Which I accidentally streamed for 16 hours.
You didn't accidentally.
No, it was split up. It was 6 hours, and then I played with my dad. So that's family bonding. It's different.
That's some good old family bonding.
Yeah, exactly. Totally different.
Back to this family bonding. So obviously something's gonna go wrong. We know
Mhm.
that. We know that because they're not just gonna show up and nothing happens. How did they get alerted? I can't remember exactly.
So the
The glass?
staircase fucking collapses when
Okay,
they
yeah.
get to the second floor. Well, because they're in the base and they're in the first floor and they see this
Yeah,
dude
yeah.
who's like ripped up and they're like, that's not infected. Like they didn't do that.
That's
That's
flat
people.
fresh. That's fresh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no. They're like, I've been bit by those. They don't stop and just go, oh, okay, you're dead. Bye. They eat you or infect you or cover you in fucking spores. And this guy was just cut up. So they were like, that's fishy. So then they go upstairs and then the stairs collapse. Now they're stuck in this room and then they hear the clicking and they're like, oh fuck. And then they're walking and I was at first I was just like, like I was annoyed at first watching this because they're not completely silent and they're still like panic breathing, which like realistically, like everyone's shitting their pants.
Yeah.
But then there's a second where like Ellie kind of breathes a little too loud and they immediately hear that. And I was just like, okay, good. All right. Yeah. That's a good attention to detail. Like,
yeah.
there's so many times in horror movies or horror whatever where they're like, and the guy's just like, where is he? Where did he go? And I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe it's the asthmatic in the fucking closet beside you. But
Yeah.
this show was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
They hear it.
They don't test your intelligence as a viewer.
No, absolutely not.
They don't insult you, I should
Yes.
say, your intelligence as a viewer.
Yeah.
Which is good because I'd be like, really? Do I need to see this again? Like,
Yeah.
I've seen this a million times in stupid horror shows, right?
Yeah. They explain something once and then they go, okay.
I even like the camera angle of Pedro when he's telling her they can hear but they can't see. I love that angle because it seems like he's talking to the audience, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
The camera work in this is really subtle. It's nothing as far as the camera work was just like, wow, it's beautiful, but nothing's annoyed me. But there are very subtle, obvious, intentional choices. Like in the first episode, the first half of the show is the camera's at Joel's level and it's at Joel's eyesight. And then when shit starts going wrong, and he goes to pick up Ellie, the camera lowers because now it's no longer just about him. And now it lowers to kind of a two, and then the rest of the episode is kind of a lower angle. And yeah, there's a lot of really subtle camera work choices that you don't notice, which is kind of the point. And they're not trying to do like we're doing an artistic thing. Oh, it's first person. Oh, you're in the seat of the person. It's like, no, you're just watching this shit unfold. Which is a testament to the camera crew that you don't notice most of the things. Like if you go through and watch for like their choices and you take note of the camera positioning stuff, but for the most part, you don't notice the camera positioning at all, which is kind of the job of the camera crew is to not be noticed.
Yeah, it has to be seamless and natural, right? How they move around the environment, the camera has to move around so it just feels natural.
Yep, and there was a bunch of action shots, and there was no fucking Jason Bourne shaky cam, which was great,
and no stupid angles where you can't even see them landing the blows.
Yeah,
right? So take that note, Obi-Wan Kenobi director. So I love how they're trying to fire the gun, but they're shitting bricks.
Yeah,
they just can't fire out the head.
Yeah, we don't see a bunch of
I like that because I've seen so many Walking Dead movies where they're just running and they're like, bang.
Yeah, everyone's fucking SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a fucking 45-year-old farmer. Like,
how did you shoot like that?
You've been shooting grouse since you were 5, sure. But like, you're not a fucking Navy SEAL sniper.
Yeah. They're like this, bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
7 zombies just die, headshots, all of them.
Yeah, and even also there was the one line too, where Ellie and Joel are waiting for Tess to get through the thing, and they just like, so do you like the color blue? And they're just like trying to make small talk, and Joel's just like,
Awkward, yeah.
yeah, he's just like, I haven't talked to a fucking teenager for decades.
That's pretty cool because he's talking
And
about his daughter right there, right?
yeah, and he's just like, that's probably the only child he's talked to in 25 years. And even then too, he was shitty at talking to his daughter. So like, he was bad at talking to a kid before, and now there's over 2 decades of fucking
Yeah.
atrophy on that
It
conversation.
could have only
part of
gotten
your brain.
worse.
Yeah, so he's just like, do you like grass? I don't fucking know. And she's just like, oh, how many of like the zombies have you killed? Not zombie, whatever. How many of them have you killed? And he's just like, a lot. And then she's just like, with the fucking hard hitting question, she's like, what about the guy that you killed in cold blood last night? And he's just like, and then Tess is just like, oh, okay, I'm here. By the way, Joel, put your gun down.
Yeah, I love the fact that. Oh, speaking of gun, I love the fact she's like, I've got an extra hand, and he's like, that's great.
Yeah, he's like, good for you, kid. Shut the fuck up.
He's asking for a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. In the
So
beginning,
good.
she's like, can I have a gun? They're both just like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I really enjoy the banter. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because going into this, I thought she was going to be the innocent kid.
No.
I had no idea this was
Yeah.
Ellie's character. I had no idea. So when
Yeah.
I started seeing this developing and seeing her character, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is what I
Yeah.
want.
Ellie's a fucking badass. And
Yeah.
like, that's honestly what made the game so great, because we've had a million games about some gruff, war-torn, fucking old, like 35-year-old dude who needs therapy. We've seen that a million times.
Every 35-year-old just went to 35 that old.
I know, I'm 32, 33. I don't know. Like,
That's not
right
old.
when, no, I know, but when she was like, oh, how old are you now, Joel? He's like, I'm 37. And I'm just like, fuck. And
You think you're like, I'm like, oh god, he's
Yeah.
younger than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he might as well be 57 the way he's been going.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's Jack
But,
Daniels and him a long nights.
Yeah, he just embodies Jack Daniels. I'm from Texas. But yeah, so like we've had a million games about some gruff fucking old dudes in who's seen some shits. The thing that makes this game great is how much of a fucking badass Ellie is, and how throughout the game their dynamic. This is tough too, to get a non-natural, like, as in, like, she is not his daughter, right? But you have an older gruff dude with a young girl, and to foster like a father-daughter dynamic without it being creepy ever, and being natural and something that's beautiful and an amazing story, is like, that's what set this game apart from and like, this is what put that game on a fucking pedestal. The writing that Naughty Dog did for the original source material was just art. It's absolutely beautiful. And so far they're doing a great job of encapsulating both Joel and Ellie's characters.
I was
Because
I got the tweet. I was checking the tweets from Naughty Dog right after the episode ended, and they just tweeted, "So what did you think of episode 2?" Right? They just dropped that little nugget there, right?
Yeah.
I think they should be proud of themselves for what they created here. This, like, everyone thought, okay, Uncharted is the best, it's amazing, and I don't know how they can do another classic like that. And boom, Last of Us just comes out and it's the instant hit. I think that those two games are some of the best storytelling I've seen in a while.
That's the thing, yeah, because they like if you take the story away, Uncharted is just Tomb Raider, and people care about Tomb Raider, but it was fine. Like it's a fine, it's an okay game. It's nothing. It's person who goes and raids things and shoots dogs, and you're like, okay. But like Lara Croft isn't something that's ever made somebody cry.
No.
But like Nathan
Yeah.
Drake, like again,
This
not
feeling,
a
this
great...
emotion behind it, right?
oh my god.
So yeah, having the brother situation, having the older mentor, having the girlfriend, or whoever she is to them, but there's a whole lot of you know attachments and emotions behind those games, and for a gaming company to bring that out, it's just brilliant writing and brilliant storytelling, right? And The Last of Us, like, it's just so far I'm in awe of how well it's been packed together this early on. We're not even halfway through, right?
We're episode 2. Like this
Yeah,
is usually where most shows are trying to now that being said, I'm I like that you have not played any of the games, because it is a good barometer for, like, I'm watching this and I already know what happens and I'm just judging them on how well they are respecting the original story. And I can't it's very difficult to take a unbiased opinion because I already know what the story entails. So I can't it's very difficult to look at this as just a show and just being like, how is the story progressing? Is it so? It's cool that you have not played the games, and I like the fact that you're playing them a little behind or trying to just get to the point that this episode has gotten to.
Yeah, because I want to see. I don't want to get ahead because I don't want it to be spoiled to me, but I want to stay on it because I also want to see from you and Nathan, who's finished the game, is I also want to hear from your guys' opinion on, was there enough change that it kept you excited to watch it?
Yeah. Well, again, the one change that they did where they have at the end of the episode where one of the guys that they find in this place, he starts moving and Joel just immediately shoots him in the head, which is also so. Yeah, they discuss. Well, okay, we'll get to that part because there's a lot of bits. I guess we're kind of at that part.
Well, they obviously frantically run around the museum to get rid of these guys. They finally kill them. Tessa throws an axe at one of the heads.
Yep,
that was pretty cool.
Another thing you do in the game.
Yeah, so you throw the axe and then he takes his gun and just basically blasts their heads off. I love the fact that when they fall on the ground, bits and pieces shatter.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That's really good job of the prosthetics, the makeup artist team. By the way, those guys look phenomenal.
They look perfect.
They're oozing and they got the great colors on them. They look great.
Yep, makeup and special effects is
they killed it.
They should get an Emmy.
Yeah, they killed it. Like, it looks really good. Even the props of the buildings and the floor of the streets, the vines, how some of them are old, some of them are new, right?
Even the guns that he was holding, like, they look properly weathered. I think there was one shot, but it might have just been because they were on a huge green screen, so they were very, very lit. But there was like one shot where he was holding the gun where it was like, I can tell that somebody relicked or aged that gun that he's holding. But
the average audience not going to see
that. Yeah. No, that is because I've done those things and I've worked on like relicking or aging guitars and like shit like that. So, but when I looked at it, I was just like, that looks fucking cool. But I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, I could tell a person did that on purpose to make it look old. But 1 millisecond of a shot, or like 1 second of a shot, where I was like, but again, it wasn't enough to take me out of the show or take me out of the immersion or anything like that.
Yeah. So after all that, Tessa actually twists her ankle because she was running it with Ellie and she falls. I thought the twist of the ankle, I thought that's going to come into play somehow because, like I said, I'm used to Walking Dead. And when somebody gets an injury,
you're
they
slowing us down.
Yeah, you got to be left behind. Sorry. I'll take one for the team. So I'm like, here we go. The old ankle twisted. But I didn't do any of that. They didn't do any of that because they know I'm going to not like it. And they said, no, we're changing it. We're smarter than that.
Yep.
The crossover, the little plank, which I thought was pretty. Nobody gave a damn about crossing a plank.
No, but that's another great line and great banter was like Joel was like, all right, be careful on that. It's scary. And she's just like, no, that was scary. This is wood. I'm fine.
which is great. And she just kind of walks right across.
Yeah, she's just like, whatever. Yeah, this is a plank of wood. This is not scary.
And this is so just before he and Tessa grows, I love the dialogue that happens here. I love the conversation between the two of them where she goes to him, can you not be positive?
Yeah.
This is shut the hell up and be a little positive for once in your life. This could be a groundbreaking change. And he just kind of sits there and goes, what are you talking about? I'm always positive.
Yeah. No. I'm a beam of fucking sunshine.
Yeah, I'm a ray of sunshine. And I thought it was cool because it might be something that he's going to look back on and say, yeah, you know what? She was actually right. I should be more positive, more assertive in life because we need to have that in order to keep going. I cannot be this deadbeat alcoholic.
Curmudgeon.
Yeah, curmudgeon. That's a great one. Yeah. So they cross over the plank, whatever. I thought she was going to fall into her death or something. Yeah. I was just waiting for this, right?
Credits roll.
Yeah. A bunch of zombies underneath just swallow her and engulf her.
Yeah, the demon soul or demon soul is like, you died. Shows up.
So get across, and then now they're heading towards the actual holding spot, I guess, for the Firefly gang. They see the truck, so they see the armored truck, and there's nobody there, and they're kind of worried, so they're kind of ducked underneath and hiding in case, I guess, either the Fireflies are under attack by the police force, or these clickers are there. And Joel decides to go and take a look. He opens the door. All you see is blood everywhere. I mean, this was like OJ's Bronco everywhere.
Allegedly,
sorry. Just everywhere, right? And there was no glove on the floor, thank God. Yep. He opens the other door and it looks like same thing, OJ's Bronco on the other side, allegedly. So he assumes that he thinks it's safe to come out because he tells her to come out. I don't understand that part. Like, I'm like, why is he telling her to come? Or did she just decide to walk up? I can't remember that part.
Well, he calls them over, I think.
He does? Okay. She comes from the backside and they open the back door. There's nothing there. But then Ellie, allegedly, yes. Make sure we get that in writing.
Yeah.
So Ellie sees in the ground drops of blood trickling to the building. And she's like, maybe they went that way. I'm just taking a hunch here. And so they go into the building, you open the door, and it's just
they're all dead.
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Bodies everywhere. And well, they actually before they go in, they check the vines, which I thought was cool.
Yes. So and before they went into the art gallery, Joel goes up to the spores that are on the ground and he kind of bashes one of them and it's just dust. And he's like, okay, this has been dead for a while. So, and that's when they were like, okay, it might be safe in there now. Cause they were like, this is the short way, which used to just be a fucking madhouse. But now they're like, okay. And in the conversation that Joel had with Ellie, he was like, okay, well, Most of them only last like a month, but also we've seen some of them last 20 years. So we don't know how long they last. And I think it's probably like if they don't get sustenance, they die off.
Which is cool because one of the gripes I have with a lot of zombie movies is
They live
how are
forever.
they all living? Because they don't even
Yeah.
devour them; they just bite them.
Yeah, 28 Days Later was one of the zombie movies that kind of addressed that, where it was if they don't, and that's why they feed is so that they can continue to live. Because there's this shot in, I think it was 28 Days Later, it might have been the 28 Weeks Later, but at the end where it's just like, oh, a year later or whatever, and you just see the zombies still alive, still cognate, but just on the ground, they can't move, and like a helicopter goes over them, and it's just like, and like its eyes look up, and that's about all it can do. But in this, yeah, it's just like the infestation takes over, and it becomes just part of the fauna of the area, where they just grow into the wall.
Yeah, because in order for zombie, what if zombies do eat in The Walking Dead? I'm like, how come they're not defecating everywhere?
Yeah,
Right? Because then if they're not defecating everywhere, that means they're not intaking the meat.
yeah.
So I was like, how are they surviving? It doesn't make any sense.
Zombies are just constantly pissing.
Right? They're soiling themselves nonstop,
Yeah.
right? With piss.
Yeah.
So they go into that building and they see nobody. They see all these equipment and everything there. Tessa's freaking out. And she's like, what the hell? Joel's
We find
freaking
out why she's free. Well, no, Joel's not necessarily freaking out. He's just like, okay, well, mission
Well, he's
over. We
upset.
just
He's
go back.
upset that this is a dead end, but he's like, okay, move on. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
But Tess is losing her shit. And we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Just
I was
calm down.
She was always calm and collective, and then I'm like, what the hell? And that's
Ellie
because
gives it. Well, Ellie got bit, and there's some foreshadowing because Ellie's just like, well, if it's gonna be any of us, it's a good thing it was just me.
oh yeah, I remember that.
And then
part,
they get
yes.
in there, and then she's just like, no, we have to do this. We got to go to this place. And he's just like, why the fuck are you freaking out? And then immediately Ellie's just like, oh shit, you're infected. And then she was like, yup.
So I'm wondering why they don't want to go save her.
So they can't.
Where they're gonna go anyways, right?
Yeah. And in the first episode, we saw a poster that said, the closer it is to your neck or your brain, the less you have to live. If you get bit in the leg, you've got, I think it was like 6 hours. If you get bit in the stomach or chest or whatever, you've got like 4 hours. If you get bit in the neck or head, you got 10 minutes. And yeah, they show that poster in the beginning. So she got bit.
Again, foreshadowing. Yeah.
Yeah. So she got bit, and she was like, we just got to get to the drop point. They get to the drop point, and she's just like, fuck.
Yeah, she's losing her mind.
Yeah.
Because she thought maybe there's a possibility for a cure there. Or
well, not a cure. She just wanted to get them there, and then she'd be like, okay, I'm infected. Kill me now. Because, yeah, they need to, like, synthesize a vaccine, spend months doing that. But she just wanted to do right because she kept saying to Ellie, like, we're not good people. We will fucking kill you right now because we don't trust you. We need to know why you're important. And she was convincing them. She's like, we're not good people. Like, we're here for us so that we can improve and survive. We're not doing this out of the goodness of our hearts.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So the goodness of the heart kind of went downturn because we see the bite mark and you're just like, oh crap, okay. And Joel's just like, crap, damn, I gotta find another girlfriend.
Well, no, he doesn't even like her. They had a couple conversations where
I guess
the end.
Yeah, I guess this is the end of their relationship, kind of, right?
Well, because she is like, when she's like not pleading for her life, but she's like convincing him that he needs to take Ellie to where she needs to go, and he's like, fuck that. Like, I don't believe that she's even special. I've heard this thing a million times. She's like, I'm not asking you to feel how, or I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm not asking you to do this. I'm not asking you to do this. And one of the things she says, she's like, I'm not even asking you to feel like I feel, which means she loves
Oh,
Joel and he does not. He's just like, I
booty
don't
call,
have
booty
the,
call.
no, he's just like, my soul's dead. My capacity to love is gone. That
Yeah,
died
that is true.
25 years ago.
That's so true. Yeah.
And so it's not like, oh, I'm just here to fucking get laid. He's just like, I have no feeling, period. I'm dead inside. And this is just me surviving to eat because that's what humans do. And so then they see the zombie. No, not zombie. I don't want to call them zombies. They're not zombies. That's
Clickers.
that's a discredit to this franchise. The infected, we'll call them.
Okay, infected. Okay.
Then the one guy kind of starts moving, and then Ellie's just like, "Oh shit!" and he just walks up, doesn't know, has just
Ooh.
shoots him, which is just like he didn't be like, "Oh, is he okay?" or "Oh, are you okay, buddy?" He just walks up dead. Just seconds after Tessa being like, "I'm infected," which is just like, all right, so maybe he'll take 10 seconds to hesitate before shooting her. And he also just tried to shoot Ellie a bunch of times, and then they use that as a gambling thing. I'm just like, you heard him say then that he'll just fucking shoot you. So like, he does not care about you.
Mm-hmm. And so after he shoots the guy, the vines connect to him.
Yeah. So then this is the new thing for this show.
So I like how they explained it in the beginning, because
Yep.
unlike other shows like Willow, where we actually
What?
get sorry,
what show?
Never mind.
Okay.
Let's Willow.
I don't know what that means.
So
I've
unlike
expunged
that show,
that from my fucking brain.
So unlike that show, this show gives you plenty of backstory and information prior to actually, progressing and actually implementing those scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I already knew the minute they talked about connectivity of all these infected through the vines and the spores.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not the spores. Is it vines? Fungi.
Sure, there's a fungus network.
Fungi network.
Kind of. Yeah.
Fungi network. So as soon as the minute they said all that, I'm like,
I got a fungi network. We meet up every couple weeks and go party.
Oh yeah, it's
hold on. Where's the hashtag dad joke?
Fungi
there we go.
I'm gonna have to use that tomorrow. By the way, join us at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, ANR Weekly, where me and my friend D we go through.
Hold on, wait. You plug stuff and to help people.
Yes, I'll plug stuff while you go and go get a drink. So join us 8:30 Pacific time on Mondays for our ANR Weekly, where we talk about all things pop culture, news, and action figures of the week. And then also join us on Wednesday, 9:45 p.m., where we talk about a specific TV show or a movie. This time, right now, we are currently doing the breakdowns of The Bad Batch, which is on Disney Plus. So we're doing breakdowns episodically every week. And then every bi-weekly, we are doing what's called Mighty Mornings. It is a Saturday morning, 8:30 a.m. Every 2 weeks, we do it. It's a breakdown and a look back of the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s animation and TV shows. And it's a lot of fun. Myself and Chris, we do that on Saturday mornings at 8:30 a.m. every 2 weeks. So we just did it this week, and in 2 weeks, we'll do another episode. We always schedule them, so you can always look forward to that. Or you can go to our social media platform at ANR Universe. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter. You can go out there and you can ask us questions about anything, any of the shows, and we also put down all kinds of content to keep you informed. And then obviously every Sunday right now we're doing the weekly episodic breakdowns of The Last of Us. And that this show starts at 9:05 p.m. Why 9:05 p.m. you say? Well, the very last episode on the Western Seaboard here ends at 9, so we have 5 minutes to get into our chairs and talk about it. Also, for anybody who's watching the Western Seaboard, they can actually finish the show and then join us. So we want to make sure everybody's finishing the show wherever time zone they're in including the West Coast, so they can join us right after it and not spoil anything for them while they're watching it. But yeah, so we got a
We're
lot
just
of things
thinking of
going on.
you.
Yeah, so we got a lot of things going on the A&R channel. Come join us for all of those, or even if you can't watch them on the replay, we would love to have you guys come on there. If you're new here and you see our show for the first time or our reviews, smash that subscribe button. Make sure to like us because the algorithm loves that kind of stuff. And leave a comment on any of our videos, especially the review videos of action figures, because we're giving away a prize every month if you just leave a comment on one of our review videos, and we'll send our figure out to you if you're selected every month. And
Every month.
we're giving cool prizes all the time from all these channels too. So stickers, coasters, maybe hats down the road, depending on who wants them and how big we keep growing. We're gonna ante up all the gifts as we could grow and get bigger and bigger out there. So enough of the spiel. Justin is back.
I'm back.
And we're gonna talk about the last bit of the show here. So Tessa is, gonna be Dunsky.
Mm-hmm.
The person that they killed, the Fungi Network. We should get a shirt. The Fungi Network with the walker in the back.
It's gonna be our new show, the Fun Guy Network.
They're all sitting on the couch having drinks. Fungi Network.
I was thinking of consuming something else, but sure.
Aha. Okay. Yes. Let's
Hey, they're legal.
Aha. Okay.
Hmm?
Anyways, let's keep it going here. So immediately you hear a roar.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool, man. It's just like, in the background. I'm like, yes.
And Joel runs to the door and they're like, how many of them? He's like, all of them. We got about a minute. Not just like, oh, we got 100. We'll hunker down here. He's just like, all of them.
Well, yeah,
A minute.
I'm so used to Walking Dead again. When they do that, they're like, board up everything,
Yeah.
nail everything, turn the lights down slow.
Yeah.
Let's get our food in. Let's eat now.
It's just like
Tomorrow morning they'll show up.
What's it's like the Battle of Helm's Deep, and they're just like, all right, we stand here, and he's like, fuck this, we gotta go.
Yeah, like, I mean, Walking Dead, it's like a whole episode thing when they finally show up at the end.
Yeah.
Right? So this is like, in 1 minute, we're screwed.
Yeah, he's like, 1 minute.
We're screwed. And then so she starts opening these crates. By the way, they got a lot of goodies over there in that place, man. She was just throwing grenades like it was candy on the ground.
Just drops a bunch of gasoline, starts dropping grenades on the
ground.
Why
do they have gasoline inside the building?
Because that's what they need to refuel all their trucks. Because this is a mobile. This is a mobile spot.
Okay, gotcha.
This is when they're just getting meeting up to do the drop off for Ellie, and then they're all going to fuck off somewhere back to their home base.
So they threw the grenades on the ground. I'm like, oh, as soon as I saw the grenades, I'm like, oh, we're having that kind of party. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We're going to have some barbecue plants.
Yeah.
all you
nice
vegans
sauteed barbecued mushrooms.
Yeah.
No, barbecue mushrooms.
Yeah,
the portobello burgers. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
This show is very vegan friendly.
Yeah.
Lots of barbecue portobello mushrooms.
No vegans are harmed during filming.
None.
No flowers, or plants were harmed during filming. Well, maybe some were stepped on.
All of them were. No. We see.
But they were compost, so they'll come back again.
This show is showing what the vegans want our world to look like, covered in plants and everyone dead.
So us meat-eating people, we're doing you a favor here, vegans.
Sure.
We're not allowing it to spread. The methane from our cows destroy all.
Yeah, we need to stop cow farts, okay?
Oh man.
But also too, they did subtle changes. The first episode, they're hinting and they're bringing this like a show about an infection and quarantine and a spread of a deadly virus.
We just, oh my god.
So when they re-released the HD version of the first Last of Us, everyone was like, oh, what the fuck? Come on. We've all played this. You're just wanting to get more money. And I was just like, we just went through a giant pandemic, and this is a show about a pandemic, or this is a game about a pandemic. It's like they are trying to get money, but they're just like, our game's about a horrible, deadly virus that kills everyone, and there's a huge, horrible, deadly virus that's killing everyone. So,
Entertain
fuck it.
yourselves.
Fuck it, we're gonna re-release this game. Well, no, The Last of Us 2 came out during the pandemic, I think. Tail
end of it. Yeah.
No, right in the beginning.
Are you sure?
Last of Us 2. I played it.
Oh, by the way, we have a random stranger here. His name is D Me. What do we have here?
Oh, hey D.
You don't know this guy. He can
Hello
just
there.
You take on the internet. You don't know this guy.
The release date was June 19th, 2020 of the second
Oh, okay.
one. So it was right in the heart of it.
It was like 3 months after the thing was starting to shut down. Okay.
No, it was like lockdown started, and they
Yeah.
were like, here's this game that'll make you fucking cry. And it was just like, all right, I don't have
How
enough.
dare they do that? Huh? How
Yeah.
dare they do that?
I was like, I don't have enough existential crises.
We can't
right
even go to
now.
the store and buy it. They're all closed.
No, you buy it on digital. It's fine.
Yeah, see? They do that.
Yeah. I played it on PS4. And
I just got the newest one on the PS5.
yeah. Well, they had
And-
already re-released it on the PS4. That's the thing. So the original came out, then I think they did an HD remake, and then the second one came out, and then they did another HD remake of the first one.
Yeah.
So but so they drop all the grenades on the ground, and then there's a cool this also too.
By the way, D-Me, we're near the end of this. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to go watch and then watch this, because we're about to talk about the very final part.
Yeah.
So spoilers for D-Me, who I don't know. It's just a random stream.
Spoilers. So then she is just like, all right, you need to save everyone that you can. And then Joel just immediately grabs Ellie's arm and starts running. And Ellie is having none of it. She's like, I'm not fucking going with you. Like, this is the guy who I've watched just punch a man to death with seemingly no remorse, who hates me, does not give a thundering fuck about anything about me, and has openly said in public to many people, oh yeah, I'll fucking shoot you. Like, I don't trust you at all. Also, the only reason I'm alive is because I think I might be the cure for all this. And he's like, fuck that and fuck you. That doesn't exist. And he's just like, all right, let's go. And then so she's just like, I don't want to go with you at all. So he grabs her and drags her, which for a good chunk of the game is that. She's just like, I don't want to be here. I don't like you. I don't want to be here. Because he's forced into this situation and doesn't like it at all, and has no qualms about openly expressing that.
Yeah.
So they fuck off. Then they all pour through the doors, and because she's infected, most of them pass her by.
I thought, so that was I was wondering why they didn't attack her and rip her, flesh out, because even if you're in the Walking Dead, if you're infected, the zombies still come to you because they want to rip your flesh off.
Yeah.
They want to make it like fatality, right? They want to make sure. So when they ran by her, I'm like, because they're blind, they probably don't see her.
Well, it's a bit of that, but also it's like it's a hive mind. And we saw that too when they were overlooking and we see like hundreds of them on the ground. And I don't know if it looked like, and they didn't really explain this too well, but it looked cool and it kind of got a different point across. But when they were all lying there and the sun was going over them, it looked like they were being hurt by the sun. And I know that that's not a thing, but it looked like they were like, the sun. I mean, maybe they're just not fucking morning people and they're like, I don't have my sunglasses. But they were rolling over. So could it
be they could be burnt because they're plants?
No, that's not a thing.
Okay,
I think
I know it's not a thing in the game, but could it be in this show where they might? Because he's saying some of them last 24 hours, some of them can last for 2 years. I'm wondering if the ones that die fast is because they got exposed to the sun too much and they dried out. Because remember, he saw the vines and said, "Oh, these are dried."
Yeah, I think it might have been they were trying to roll over to get more sun because photosynthesis and part whatever. And maybe it was something like that. But just from like vampire shit, it looked like they were like, but that might just be my brain doing that. But it was cool seeing that, and that's when they explained like, oh, they're all connected. They have a network of, mycelium that's under the ground that goes for hundreds of miles.
Yeah.
So if you step on one, they know. So it's like a hive mind thing. So she's obviously part of that now, and you see her like frantically fucking with the Zippo, and that was stressful because I didn't.
Okay, here's the thing though.
I also thought, why didn't she just pick up a grenade?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you just threw down a bunch of grenades. Just pick one up and pull the pin.
All she's doing. There's also ammo and stuff. So like, realistically, like 6 grenades rolled on the floor, and maybe Ellie was the only one who noticed it. She's just dumping things that are guns onto the ground and doing gas. So she's probably not taking an inventory of the things that she's dumping on the ground while she's like, I got about 5 minutes before I fucking turn into a mushroom death being.
Yeah.
So she's just dumping shit on the ground to make the biggest fireworks extravaganza.
It was really weird how one of the infected came to her and started French kissing her.
Yep.
I just thought that was weird, but
that's
how plants communicate, I guess.
They do. I mean, you've seen Avatar. That's their head tail thing, or whatever.
But this is from the front. They're from the back.
Yeah.
You should press that button right now.
Which one?
Any one of them. Any one of them. Definitely spicier than ketchup. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
definitely. So
then
finally, she gets the Zippo. Finally lights up, and she kind of flings it, and then we see the outside shot of the two of them escaping, Ellie and Joel, and then kaboom!
Yep.
And then you see burning.
Oh,
infected. That was cool.
You hear the screams. Oh, that was good.
And they're all burning and they're running out. That's awesome.
And that's where it ends.
Did they tuck and roll? Because if somebody had taught them to tuck and roll, they would. Never mind. Hashtag ain't our dad joke.
That was not a dad joke.
It is, okay.
Sure.
Said it.
So that, and then credits roll. Now, I have a question for you. Did you notice that this episode was shorter?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
I didn't.
I know you're gonna say it didn't feel like a short.
It didn't feel to me.
So let me explain.
Yeah.
I knew it was short in my mind, and I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I think that is what made me think the whole time is short. Because if I didn't know what the time frame was, just watching it, I don't think it feels short.
No.
They did a good job of the pacing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like an hour or so episode.
Sure.
But because I knew what the time was, my mind automatically went bias mode. It's short. It's already
so there. I had a similar thing, but when we looked up the run times, I think it was saying that this episode was going to be 45 minutes or a half an hour or just over or something like that. And then when I saw that it was like 57 minutes, I was like, oh, this is an hour show. Okay, whatever. And so immediately my brain just got rid of that. And then at the end of it, I was like, oh, was this one short? And I was like, honestly, now first episodes tend to do this where, especially for shows nowadays, where a lot of shows do a binge thing where they release everything at once. So now a lot of companies are having to be like, we can't just put out an episode and have it not be the best fucking thing you've ever seen, because people won't watch, because we're not putting up all the episodes. Mm-hmm. So we have to entice people and have to get their attention and make them wait, because a week is a long fucking time for TV.
Sure
now.
is.
Like a week is a fucking year, and as far as entertainment or any like artistic thing you put out
Especially
now.
right now when people are okay with seeing 5 minute less videos,
Totally,
and they
yeah,
go and consume 100 of them in a day,
absolutely.
right?
So like, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
And it's making production houses and production teams and people who do this stuff really hone their craft. And I think this is a perfect example of, yes, it has the back catalog of 2 video games which are loved by hundreds of thousands of people, if not more.
Mhm.
Um, so they have that already to kind of bolster the start, but they still have to entice you to continue watching, because on the first episode, the reason why I didn't give it a 10 was because I was like, this seems like they are just copy pasting, and I want to reserve a higher mark um to make sure that they're not just doing that. Because again, if this is just the best cover band that I've ever seen, I'll still respect them for doing that, but a cover band is still not the original.
Yeah, I
This
hear you.
episode showed me that they are capable of branching off, and while they are still sticking to the same storyline, which is fine and what I expect and hoped for, are not just doing slight changes for aesthetic purposes. So the gas mask thing and no spores. Also, they reference spores too. So that might also be a thing later. So they might just be holding it in
Mhm.
their back pocket, because Ellie was like, "Oh, are there super infected, and are there giant ones that just shit out spores that you breathe in?" And I was like, they might do a gas mask thing
Mhm.
later on, but they're not just leaning on that as the sole way that you get infected.
Yeah,
So
so
I,
they might try to appease both the gaming
yeah, they
community
might.
and the actors, agents, and their
Yeah, and their willingness to be like, I was the Mandalorian for fucking 3 seasons. I
yeah,
want people to show my fucking face.
yeah, please.
Yeah. Um so I think they might do like an episode or two or near the end
Or the
where
finale,
they're
yeah.
just all in gas masks. And also too, that then adds another layer of danger. So instead of just like, oh, they just always wear gas masks, and then it's
Mhm.
just a cheap writing thing where it's like, oh, their gas mask fell off, they died. Oh no. But then they're saving that for later, where they, because we've already seen slight infected. Now we've seen clickers. Clickers are the main antagonist of this whole thing. So now we see that, and before it was, oh, this is a dangerous area. So they might just be holding that for something to add up the ante a bit, to just be like, this place is really dangerous. Like there's infected there, but like now they can't even breathe or else they'll die.
Yeah.
And also too, when Ellie was like, are there this and this and this, and Joel's just like just like 1,000-yard stare, and nobody responded. They're just like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, so it ends with the bang.
Mm-hmm.
It started with the bang. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but I just from this 2 episodes, I gotta say that this could be. Now, I'll see how at the end I feel, and I want to make sure I say this right now. Just on these 2 episodes alone, this might be contender of the year for me for the best TV show.
Yeah.
Where I know we're in January still, and there's 11 months to go, and there's a lot
Mhm.
of big shows coming out. For example, Mandalorian is one of them,
Mhm.
right? But I just think the attention to
More
detail.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, he's competing with himself.
Yeah. That motherfucker.
Either
No,
way, he's
you.
still gonna win.
Yeah.
Sucks for Ellie. I mean,
Yeah.
unless he's the voice of Grogu down the road. But I just think that with the attention to detail of the directing, the fan service that they're doing to appease everybody that played the game, the CGI, the actors. I mean, the list of the writing, The list goes on and on. Even the sound effects, the music,
Sound
like
design was phenomenal.
yeah, the
The
score.
music, the music is so. There's a bunch of references. So Joel plays guitar.
Okay.
And there was a couple shots in the first episode where you see his guitar, and it's very similar. There's a bunch of like there's a lot of yeah. And then in the second game, there's some like guitar stuff, and
Okay.
it's just no, it's beautiful.
Okay.
I think it might be in the first one a little bit too, but
Brother for me.
also too, they reference some of the DLC in the first episode as well. Ellie has a girlfriend. Also, they kind of reference it in this too. Ellie's got a girlfriend, and that's part of the DLC, which is a prequel to the first one. But in this episode, when Tessa was like, "Oh, is there anyone going to come looking after you?" You know, like mom, dad, boyfriend, whatever. And then she is just like, "I'm an orphan." And then she doesn't say, "Oh no, whatever." She just goes, "Nope," because she's just like, "I'm gay," like, or bi or whatever. Yeah. But it's just like their mom, like dad, or boyfriend. Nope.
And I like the fact that they don't try to hammer it to your face to let you know.
Yeah, well, they didn't do that in the game either,
which is fine because you want to organically get to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are intelligent enough for the most part to figure it out, right? So I do appreciate that. Yeah, honestly, like the first 2 episodes, I think this is early contention for the TV show of the year. I don't know what can dethrone. Maybe Mandalorian, maybe, but we'll see. We'll see. The year's still young. What do you? Okay, let's just kind of do our scores for this episode. What do you have anything to add before you want to give your score?
No.
Straight to the point. Okay, I love it. What do you give it out of 10?
10. Oh. I was gonna give the last episode a 10, but again, I had some like if they just do this, if it's just gonna be a cover band, then again, that's fine. I have nothing wrong with cover bands. I love cover bands. They absolutely should exist and are important. When an amazing cover band is amazing, they should be respected. They are artists at their craft and they're doing something amazing. And if this show is just going to be a cover band for the TV or for the video game, then I would absolutely still respect that and whatever. The fact that they are adding backstory to the original epicenter of the infection and how it started, and they're doing that well, and it's not just a throwaway thing. They start with that, and then they're like, here's a little more information. And you're like, fucking cool. And it's, again, slightly different and a little more grounded. Even though the games came out within the last 10, 15 years, they're still updating the story to now. And it isn't too different, but it's still updating it just slightly enough that they are updating it.
And that's the brilliance of writing.
The dialogue is good. So character writing, dialogue, and the pacing of everything is absolutely perfect. But it also was in the game. So the reason why I'm giving it a 10 is because the things that they are changing for the TV show are not just for the sake of it being a TV show. They're adding new elements, which is adding different dynamics to the show that the game did not have. The game didn't have the cell network of mycelium that are under the ground that will alert them. They didn't have that in the game. So they're adding this to a TV show, which is doing that as a game mechanic would be fucking garbage. if there was like, oh, if you step on the wrong thing, guys from 10 miles away come and fuck you up. It's like, okay, well, I hate this game now. But doing that as a TV show adds a different dynamic, and it's cool. They are changing some things with characters that still kind of keeps me on my toes. We do see Tess die in a very similar way, but it is slightly different. So then I'm still just like, when the reveal happens and she's like, oh yeah, in fact, I'm just like, oh fuck, like it's still enough.
Yeah, it's still resonates.
Even though I know the source material, I'm still like, oh fuck no. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I felt the same way when the daughter passed. I'm like, I know it's coming. I know it's coming,
oh
but I'm like,
again,
oh.
I still like in the first episodes, I was like, oh yeah, oh this is a great actress. Oh, it's gonna suck when she dies. But that scene still like brought tears to my eyes. Like right when it was about to happen, I was just like, I welled up and I was like, oh shit, this is where we see our boy Joel get born.
10 is a perfect score, and you've given it this episode, and I believe last week as well, or maybe
No,
9.5 last week,
it
right?
was nine.
But
I held back a little bit because again, I didn't come up with the cover band um thing yet at that point, but it was essentially the same reason because I was like,
but those were phenomenal scores. I gave it a 9.5 last week, and I'm gonna give it a 9.5 this week.
sure,
Uh, the only thing I didn't like was at the near the ending where she could just grab the grenade and did all that. I found that kind of a little cheesy where she's trying to do the lighter, but it still wasn't horrible. Like I'm trying to
yeah,
nitpick here at this point, right?
you're literally picking at a
Yeah,
perfect suit, and you're like, nah, there's some lint there.
yeah. I mean, that's it, right? The
Yeah,
camera had a little bit of lint on the lens, and I didn't like
yeah.
that. Things like that. So, yeah, 9.5 for me. I mean, oh man,
Which
I
brings our average to a 9.7.
and then we'll ask next week Nathan when he comes on
Mm-hmm.
what his score was for this week. I'm hoping that we get all three of us together eventually. I'm hoping next week will be it. I'm free next week, so I hope you are free and Nathan's free to continue to do
Probably.
episode 3 breakdowns. And we hope you are free to come watch us and maybe ask us some questions. We'll love that. And let us know what you guys' thoughts are. And if you're watching this on replay, leave a comment. Give us your score. We want to hear your score. I gave it a 9.5. Justin gave it a 10. Are we wrong? Or am I just right and Justin's wrong? Or the other way around? What did you give your score of this episode and last week's episode? Let us know. We definitely want to hear people's opinions on it. It's really cool to see other people's takes on something that we talked about and we watched ourselves. And come join us for our many of our podcasts that we do. A lot of them. We do too many, I think. But it's okay. We love doing
No,
all
we
these things.
don't do enough.
There you go. See, he's being positive. I should
Yes.
be more 2023. I said to everybody I'm going to be more positive. And don't give me that face. I've been positive so far in this show.
Yes.
I think I've turned a new leaf. I think I've become better.
Yeah. By this point, when you get to the second game, you might like it.
There you go. See? So with that being said, we are closing it off for today, but we'll be back next week at 9:05 p.m. Pacific time. And come join us tomorrow for the A&R Weekly. We'll put it up the schedule so you'll know what time it is. Come join us there. On Wednesday for the
Yeah.
Bad Batch. That's a killer show too. And we're doing
It's great.
yeah. I mean
fine.
it's a fun show, yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So come join us for
Next
that
week
too.
might be super heavy.
Because we got a filler last week, so this one could be a
Yeah.
banger. Yeah, come join us. We'll talk about that on Wednesday night at 9:45 p.m. All right, with that being said, the two of us are out of here, and we'll catch you guys later. Say bye, Justin.
Bye, Justin.